Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It's about 5 o'clock on January 27th, 2014, and we're going to take a look at a little bit more ugliness today after I remind you that the website and the video are for educational purposes only and nothing stated at the site or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I control lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I am not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. So let's take a look at this mess. Okay, looking at an hourly chart. Now, some of our smaller lines get a little squirrely on this chart. I think that's a technical analysis term, squirrely. You can see we are flirting with a breakdown of this line that I just highlighted here. By the way, you're going to see a few slightly new things, like that little pop-up that came up right there. This is upgraded to the new version of TC2000, and it's got a little bit more information that comes up. But if you are using freestockcharts.com, you're not going to get that, but don't worry about it. I don't really rely upon that so much anyway. But anyway, look, here's the deal. We had this line right here that I mentioned in the weekly review. That is, we look how long that line has been on the chart since November of 2012. And I mentioned that none of the bottoms really line up that nicely along that line. So with that in mind, I said we need to think of this line as being just a little bit fuzzy. Like maybe it's 15 or 20 points tall. Maybe not that much, maybe 10 or 15. But because it doesn't line up perfectly, it's hard for us to get too confident in how important this is. So, that said, it looks like we wanted to try to bounce some at about this line or just a little bit below it. We're going to take a little bit closer look at the chart. And we finished the day really kind of just a little bit underneath this support line right here. And folks, if this breaks, then I think we've got a chance at support at this kind of olive brown line, but I think the handwriting is on the wall that we are likely, if that breaks, then we're likely to be testing something down underneath 1700. So this market could still have a ways to go if we do not turn around about right where we closed today. Now, if we look at a 15-minute chart, well, I'll tell you what, let's look at a 10-minute. It gets a little bit more clear. It's kind of interesting because we've got some support and resistance lines that line up pretty nicely. But I tell you what's odd about it, and I think you probably will see this right off the bat. It's very odd to see this, instead of a convergence, we have a divergence of these two lines. So that's a bit odd. Usually we've seen selling take place, and it's pretty much in parallel channels. But we're getting a little bit goofy now. Now this is due to one of two things. Okay, well, obviously you see these 3 points line up perfectly, and these 3, 4, 5 points line up perfectly down here. Before I tell you why this is kind of odd, let me just say I'm going to leave these on the chart just as they are because I think this is the safest thing to do. I would not want to say, for example, that this is the real line and we just got temporarily above it back on the 23rd, because if I say that, then that implies that what we had today after lunch was a breakout and we're probably going to reverse up right here. that's what this looks like if I move this line to this position. However, if I put it here, then it looks like, no, we came up to resistance, and there's a decent chance for us to come back down into the, tomorrow into the 1760s even. That said, if this is the correct interpretation, then we'll be over this line pretty quickly anyway. So let's leave it here. Okay? And if we go back to this just for a second, this would probably beg out for a back test. So if tomorrow, if we were to lose a quick 8, 9, or 10 points, and then rally and then take this line out, then we would know that the previous position right here had some validity to it. I hope that's clear. Okay? So I'm going to leave it here, and for all practical purposes, I think once the S&P rallies over this trend line right here, I'm gonna have to try to figure out a way to turn that off, because that's kind of getting in the way, isn't it? But if we rally over this trend line right here, then I think that would be marking where the S&P is going to very likely put in a reversal, or at least a consolidation. And we will take a look at what happens after that. Then we can make a little bit better judgment as to are we setting up a bear flag, or is this a genuine little bottoming pattern that's taking place. So guys, I think that's about it. All I can say is if we continue to get some strong selling pressure, and if our broadening top is the correct call, this little pattern right here bounded by this line and this line, then we could see levels in the 1710, 1720 range. And possibly if we don't, if this doesn't halt that, this line right here, which by the way, this is a fairly speculative line. It is just a parallel to our top resistance line that we know is operating, because I've just got this on the chart on the outside chance that all of what we've been seeing here for the past few months may end up being a rising channel of parallel lines. You see, we've got this touch right here, and then we've got another one back in June. So it's possible. So I would just have if we come down to this line, I guess the best way to put it is I would be open to see if we maybe get a bounce here, taking away a little bit of the target from the broadening top. And if that's the case, that would certainly be a better situation than coming down and hammering hard on this blue line, because this is our long-term line that I believe if it goes, then we are likely then we need to be on alert for the possibility that we are seeing a more major turn in the markets. Not just a little short-term bump here, but potentially we're putting in a major top. But not until this line breaks. Okay? So anything right now looks to be just a pause in the action. Let's see if we bounce here. If we don't bounce here, let's see if we get picked up at this speculative, what do I want to call this? This speculative support line. Finally, I just want to show you one more quick thing. This bottom line right here is defined really only by 2 points. And the first one is right here, and the second one, I've been using this little skinny candle down there where we just didn't trade there for very long. If we use a little bit more of the body of what took place during these 2 weeks, and we say that that this is also a support level and that was just a little momentary lapse there, then it's possible that we're still dealing with a broadening top, but the breakdown of it could take us to a point no lower than that speculative channel line. But again, this line is totally speculative. I've only got 2 touches on it, and they're way back when. So guys, there's your video for January 27th, 2014. Hey, I'm about ready for a rally. How about you? Let's see if we can break out over this top line tomorrow. That would be certainly welcome news, and at least get us back up for a solid back test up in the 1830s, 1840s. That would be a welcome turn of events. So I want to thank you for watching again. Thank you for your support. Take care.